So let's make sure we get to Auburn, Alabama. This game on a bunch of fronts, right? We've seen teams fire coaches. They're one of many this season that's already happened. Cadillac Williams is there. What an emotional moment over the weekend. And you've got this rivalry. You've got these coaching rumors. Clint, what say you about the game and then everything kind of surrounding the game?
Yeah, well, I think you talk about the coaching rumors. I think that is a real thing in a lot of places, but I don't think it is at Auburn right now. A distraction is what I'm saying. Like, I think this team is really rallying around Cadillac Williams. Like that. I think he's really. I don't know that he's even a long-term option there. In fact, I know he's not, because they're going to go pay somebody $10+ million a year to be the head coach. But I don't think that this squad is worried about who's next. I don't think they're worried about if it's Lane Kiffin and all the smoke around all that Deion Sanders and all that kind of crap. I really don't. I think it's real in some situations, not this one. But I mean, you got an Alabama squad that coming out in these rankings at number 7 right now. It's going to take all hell to break loose above them. But I mean, there's still enough bait there to make them think that they have something to play for over this week. And I think you get a real Bama football team coming out there. So I don't think Auburn. I've watched them consistently over the last several weeks. They don't have, quarterback's a good athlete, but he is clueless when it comes to throwing the ball around the park consistently. It's clueless. That's probably a little bit harsh. Sorry, Yogi. I forgot who I was here with. That's a little bit harsh, brother. Clueless may not be the fair way to put it. Just young, inexperienced. He's lost at times. And I think it's going to be hard for that guy, that offense, to stay on the field with Alabama, if I'm being honest.
I got you. Yeah, I think if it was at home, I'd give him more of a chance. Auburn trying to get to a bowl game. It'll be interesting. I think it'll be a fun early start to that game. We love that rivalry.
I tell you what, Yogi, it would be a real. I mean, if Cadillac Williams could get these boys, take this thing over, and get these boys bowl eligible, it would be one hell of a story. Now, obviously it wouldn't amount to a hill of beans, but at the end of the day, it would be one hell of a story, feel-good story, former player, his alma mater, backed against the wall. I mean, just dysfunction throughout that organization. And if he were able to do that and do it beating Alabama, what a story, boy.
Okay, so let's talk coaching rumors real fast here, because I think there's a lot of dynamics to it, right? Like, we saw, of course, all over social media last night and today with everything with Lane Kiffin and that rumor. But I think there's something like the interim guys, like the Cadillac Williams of the world. Like, he may not, he's not going to get the Auburn job, to your point, but like, does he pick up one of these other jobs that are open up, even smaller? Like, I think it's a cool opportunity for guys like that to showcase like the leadership traits. Obviously, I think guys like that should stay on the staff. Dante Williams is a great example of SC last year. Lincoln Riley kept him on after being the interim guy for 9 games or whatever it was throughout the season. But we look at the jobs that are open. Referenced Auburn, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Arizona State, Colorado, Georgia Tech, let alone some other non-Power 5 jobs. Hack, for you, like, what do you think any of those are leaning? Do you think that we'll have decisions on those in your neck of the woods before Thanksgiving? Obviously, the start of next week is huge, and the week after that is even bigger as Portal Palooza kicks off, I think, December 5th.
Yeah, I think
that's nice.
Yeah,
you like that?
that's nice. Yeah, that's good. I think Wisconsin. I think they're going to stick with Leonard. I think he fits their mold. Obviously, him playing there. Wisconsin's been really conservative, and even the move to move on from Chris, the way they did and how quickly they put Leonard in there was uncharacteristic of Wisconsin. So I think that kind of tipped their hat. And they're a program that really gels on that physical kind of Wisconsin Midwest type of mentality. So I think he's a good fit. The Nebraska one's the interesting one to me, because I think, earlier years, early 2000s, that job had a lot of luster, but I think it's lost a lot of its shine. I thought that the Scott Frost dig and hire was a big one. And the way that fell on its face and how it unraveled, I think, was not good for Nebraska, and they're going to have to shovel out a lot of money to get a football coach in there who's going to be to their standards of what they want, because it's a program that still has a ton of pride and still lives in the in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s kind of realm, and they just really haven't quite been there since then. So it's gonna be really interesting, at least in my neck of the woods, to see how that plays out. Like I said, I think Wisconsin's kind of done, but the Nebraska one is one that I'm going to circle, because they're going to have to cough up some dough if they want to get a ball coach in there. If not, I think they're going to have to go and try and get one of those slam dunk young guy hires who's looking to climb, maybe from one of those mid-major programs who's had some success, and trying to establish themselves in the Power Five.
Hey, Hack, I'm gonna tell y'all, man. I'm gonna tell you, and this pains me because this son-buck ripped my heart out of my chest. That damn Bobby Petrino, if he don't get a head job at one of these big time Power Five programs, people are crazy. If Nebraska's not looking at Bobby Petrino right now,
well, that's a great candidate for them too, though.
Bro, he took Arkansas to the first BCS game that we've ever been to. I mean, he was doing it in like it's very similar to Nebraska relative to like how you have to recruit and how you have to do it differently. I mean that dude, I'm telling you, man, I want to meet him in a dark alley and whoop his ass, if I'm being honest with you. But he is a football coach that does more with less from jump. One of these squads that has a dynamic like you're talking about, where you're kind of lost. You're in a state that doesn't produce a whole hell of a lot of Division I guys. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, that sucker's a football coach and Johnny.
That's a really good point, and that's where Nebraska, I think, needs to go. If they're going to try and get someone, they need to get someone who's itching to get back to where they were and haven't had an opportunity yet. You're gonna have to take a chance, or like I said, you're gonna have to go with someone who's unproven. But that's
Yogi. You're shaking your head, Yogi. You don't like that thought. What's the deal?
I think there's a lot of coaches out there that don't get shots to be head coaches when you comp it to the amount of coaches that just get continuous shots. And I just think there's enough hungry. And when the ADs that I talk to are like, we need people, and I'm not putting an age gap on this. Like, I don't believe in that, but the phrase I will use may make you think I mean that, but I don't. They want youthful energy who have the energy to really attack this portal and NIL. And it's a different job than it was 2 years ago. And I don't know him at all, and I'm not saying he does or does not have the energy around it, but I think there's a lot of really talented coaches that have been coordinators for a while, have had a bunch of interviews at different places, that I think might thrive in this environment, because it's totally different than what it was. I mean, I referenced and joked with Portal Palooza. December 5th, the portal opens, and most teams I've talked to are like 20 to 30 players are going to leave, or at least dip their toes into it. Like, I think the management of it is insane. Insanely dramatic is probably the appropriate answer. So that's where I kind of net out on that.